What's going on, party people? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at a brand spanking new pre-built desktop PC that just launched today if you're watching this video on the day of upload. It retails for $3,500 and it's aimed at serious content creators, but it can also game and stream and do pretty much anything else under the sun. I don't even know what it looks like. It's still in its box, all pristine. I haven't seen any pictures of it, so we're gonna unbox it together today and take a closer look at it to find out if it's actually worth the hefty price tag. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to introduce to you the Nzxt Creator PC. It's a little slow. Can we start that intro over? All right, we're gonna talk and unbox here. It might be a little hairy at times, but just bear with me. So for starters, if you order one of these suckers before 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, it will ship out the very same day. And if you opt for overnight shipping, it'll actually get to your place the next day. So pretty much, unless there's like a micro center near your place or another store where you can buy all the PC parts you need, this is probably one of the fastest ways you could get a system of this caliber up and running in your house. The other nice thing is that Nzxt has completely waived the $99 BLD fee that they usually tack on with their existing BLD systems. So you're only paying for the parts themselves. You're not paying a company to build the system for you. Nzxt is only making money on these things by bundling their hardware into the systems instead of tacking on an additional fee for the customer. For example, the H510 Elite is the chassis that ships with this system. Now this comes in black or white. You get to choose on checkout. Looks like they've sent us the white version. All right, give me a second here. Okay. All right. By the way, guys, this video is not sponsored in any way. I don't even keep this unit. They're taking it back after I'm done with the video, so I am not obligated to say anything nice about this system if I don't want to. In fact, I should probably say something negative right now just to prove my point. Like, look at this packaging. I hate this shade of gray. It's stupid. Now you guys probably want to know what the specs are, so I'm just going to go ahead and rattle it off really quick, and then we'll talk about it more in detail when we get it out of the box. We've got a 9900K, that's a Core i9 processor from Intel, their current flagship Coffee Lake CPU, 64 gigs of DDR4. I'm not sure what speed, it's probably 3200, I would assume. We have a Z390 motherboard and an RTX 2080 Ti. Windows 10 Pro 64-bit included. All right, the lovely H510 Elite in the flesh. Let's go ahead and pop the side panel off. I really dig the one thumb screw toolless design. Instapak packaging ensures a safe delivery. Get it out here. Ooh, hello there. Come on, buddy. Whoa, that's actually pretty slick. Yeah, this is probably one of the nicer looking BLD pre-builts that I've seen. Looks like we do have a Kraken X. I'm gonna say that's an X62. That's a 280, baby. That's beefy. Very nice, top performing liquid AIO there, courtesy of Nzxt. This is Nzxt's motherboard as well. This is the N7Z390. It's a very stylish board. Nzxt did a fantastic job of branding it because at its core, it's an ECS board. That's the board maker. I've actually never worked with this board personally. The only Nzxt board I've ever gotten hands-on time with was the Z270 model, and I remember the BIOS on that board not being the greatest. It was a little bit clunky, it wasn't super intuitive, and it was even unstable at times. So I can't speak to this board, but I will say if you're planning on buying this system, do a little research on this board to make sure that the BIOS is now a little updated, it's a bit more refined, especially if you plan to dive into the BIOS and tweak settings and things like that. Let's pop out one of these memory modules, take a closer look at these T-Force DIMMs from Team Group. These are their Delta R sticks, I believe. Yes, Delta R. Okay, they're actually 3000 speed, which is perfectly fine for Intel. Cast latency isn't the greatest at 16, 18, and 38, but I'm sure it's not super detrimental or anything. Last thing I'll point out here is that these are 16 gigabyte sticks. So again, 64 gigs of DDR4 in total. You know, before we actually continue, I kind of want to plug this guy in, power it on, just so we can see what it looks like all booted while we're talking about it. It might be a bit more visually interesting. Hey, look, it turned on. It turned on out of the box. It's already better than a Walmart PC. RGB lighting. Oh, so beautiful. But let's talk about the GPU, shall we? Because I can't ignore this beast anymore. This is the Asus ROG Strix RTX 2080 Ti. I believe this is the OC gaming model. We've got 11 gigs of VRAM on board, and it's just an absolutely beautiful card. Extremely cool, extremely quiet, and ridiculously powerful. I mean, this thing's basically a gamer's wet dream. It's like name your resolution and frame rate, and it'll pretty much do it, unless you're talking 4K 144 hertz. Then you might need two of them, but mostly everything under that, this thing will chew right through. I mean, we've got the fastest gaming CPU on the market right now, along with the fastest gaming-centric GPU, so this thing can definitely tear up some frames. Now, some of you probably already saw this guy lurking in the background. Just above the GPU, we have a 1TB WD Black SN750 NVMe PCIe Gen 3, because we don't have Gen 4 support on Z390, of course, M.2 SSD. It's got that really nice looking heatsink on it, extremely fast, up to 3,500 megabytes per second read. We also have a mechanical drive. There's a 4TB WD Blue that's hiding underneath this power supply shroud, but it's only 5,400 RPM. I don't know why they didn't opt for 7,200 at the very least, so that kind of bugs me. It should have been 7,200 from the get-go, but all in all, you do have 5 terabytes of storage on board. Now, a little side note here, while 5 terabytes of internal storage is plenty for most users, a lot of content creators need to take their footage on the go or transfer files between systems on a regular basis. So NZXT has thought of that, and they're allowing customers to add this on to their purchase at checkout. This is a WD Black P10 mechanical hard drive, comes in 2, 4, and 8 terabyte capacities, and it has a rugged looking metal enclosure that serves as a passive heatsink so your drive doesn't get too hot. Sorry for the tangent, they just sent it over with the system, so I figured I would mention it really quick. You can't really see the power supply too well, but we are getting an EVGA 750 watt G3. Very reliable unit, 80 plus gold, modular design. It does have black cable, so no ketchup and mustard, which is a huge plus. Having said that, can we start adding sleeved extensions to these builds that cost several $1,000s? I know it's probably a little nitpick thing, but I think it's important. I think it's important that when someone spends $3,500 on a system, that it looks like it could be on the CES show floor. And no build on the CES show floor that's actually there to look pretty or impress has stock power supply cable. So I just feel for the money. I mean, you can get a kit for roughly 30 bucks, and that little bit just goes such a long way in terms of aesthetics and making the customer really feel like they got a premium product. Just one man's opinion. Apart from that, we have a pair of very lovely AR2 RGB fans. These are 140 millimeter. They look really nice through the tempered glass front panel. And we also have 2 120 millimeter fans at the rear and top of the case, exhausting hot air. So it looks like there's a really good airflow path coming through here. At first glance, I have no reason to suspect that anything in the system would overheat or thermal throttle in any way. It looks like there's plenty of airflow and CFM going through the chassis. But as they say, trust, but verify. All right, I've been running Doom at 4K for 15 minutes now, just enough to get the GPU completely heat soaked. Both our CPU and video card are running completely stock. And you can see right here at we're getting around 1800, sometimes topping 1900 megahertz on the GPU core clock. And at that speed, we're seeing roughly just under 70 degrees Celsius. So very cool, nothing to be alarmed there. CPU isn't being fully utilized right now, but we're still getting around 50 degrees C, which is fantastic. As you might expect, frame rate is looking really strong as well. Now I've got Asus Realbench that's been running for roughly 5 minutes. Just to give you guys a quick snapshot of CPU temperatures, Realbench is like a suite of mini tests that just kind of work in the background. It does all kinds of things, encoding, image editing, and so forth, and it taxes your CPU anywhere from 1 to 100%. You can see it's doing some stuff in the background right now, but we have already done a couple tests where the CPU was at 100% utilization, and at that point, the hottest we got was 78C, which is still very much within TJ Maxx. It's perfectly fine operating temperatures. Obviously, things are subject to change if you're gonna try your hand at overclocking, but the way things are looking right now, I would say this thing could definitely handle, say, a 5 gigahertz overclock on all cores if you wanted to squeeze even more performance out of this thing. Now, for the price, the system is obviously not for everyone, but at the same time, not everyone needs a 9900K, 64 gigs of RAM, and an RTX 2080 Ti. This is really reserved for a special type of serious content creator who doesn't want their creative vision to be hindered by a technical bottleneck. And in that sense, I think NZXT's put together a pretty good rig that does exactly that. Like I pointed out, this thing isn't perfect, right? It's got a couple shortcomings, like a 5400 RPM drive, a motherboard that I'm not 100% sure about, and some aesthetic touches that could have easily been thrown in. Now, if you're not a content creator, but you're still considering buying this thing for gaming, do not buy this for gaming. You don't need 64 gigs of memory for gaming. You also probably don't need a 4 terabyte drive and a 1 terabyte SSD. I mean, maybe you need those things, but chances are you can build a system that's better tailored for your needs, that's gonna save you some money, because as it's configured now, the system is way overkill for a gaming rig. If your needs veer more on the professional spectrum and you've got the coin to spend, this is definitely a solid option if you are looking for a pre-built, something that already comes pre-assembled, you don't have to worry about picking out the parts, and you're interested in having one company to go to should anything go wrong. You just kind of want a one and done solution. I would say the system is worth your consideration. But I don't know, you guys let me know what you think about this thing, especially you content creators out there. Does this tick all the boxes for you for what you need in terms of performance, features, budget, and all that stuff? Let me know down below. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on it, but thank you so much for watching this video. Toss a like on it before you go. It helps a lot. And get subscribed to the channel for more tech stuff coming at you real soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Pew!